Hi, and welcome back to the Healthy Life Approach podcast. I'm Kristen Beasley, a certified functional medicine, nutrition, and brain health coach. Today's Build Your Base topic is making daily movement easier and more consistent. Picture this, it's early morning and you're glancing at your fitness tracker. The number 10,000 looms large, a target yet to be reached. You feel a tinge of guilt thinking about how you barely made it to 6,500 steps yesterday. That guilt is familiar, isn't it? Well, let's start with that number you've probably seen everywhere, 10,000 steps. It's the goal on your tracker, the ring you try to close, the buzz on your wrist that says, nice work. Over time, many people have come to believe if they don't reach 10,000, they're not doing health right. But have you ever wondered where that number actually came from? Was it based on a big medical discovery or a public health recommendation after years of research? No, it wasn't. And once you hear the real story, you might feel relieved. In the mid-1960s, a Japanese company created a pedometer for the Tokyo Olympics. They named it Manpoke, which means 10,000 steps meter. It started as a marketing gimmick because they named their device after the character for 10,000 because it looked like a person walking. Clever marketing, not science. So the number didn't come from a laboratory or a clinical trial. It started as a memorable slogan that caught on. Then something unexpected happened. That catchy idea became a global standard. We often judge our health by whether we hit a target on our devices. Some of us push ourselves too hard, while others feel like failure if we have only reached 8,200 steps. For many, the concept doesn't fit our bodies or our mobility needs. It's important to recognize that movement goals can be adopted for all bodies, embracing those of us with diverse abilities. This episode is designed with inclusivity in mind, offering valuable insights for everyone, regardless of mobility level. And if walking isn't accessible for you, don't worry, I'm going to cover alternative approaches later in this episode that offer the same brain health benefits. So today, I want to move away from the 10,000 step myth and focus on research-based targets that are realistic, effective, and good for your brain. This isn't about perfection or pressure. It's about evidence and giving yourself more freedom. In 2025, the Lancet Public Health published a huge meta-analysis. Picture 57 different research teams all contributing their data to one massive collaborative project. Researchers combined data from over 160,000 adults across these studies. This kind of research helps cut through the hype by providing a broad, reliable picture rather than just a single small study. Here's what they found when they compared people who walk about 2,000 steps a day to those who walked more. People who walked around 7,000 steps per day had a 47% lower risk of death from any cause. That's nearly half. Imagine nearly halving the chance of missing future family birthdays or those spontaneous gatherings with friends that fill life with joy. It's not a small change, it's a significant difference from simply moving more often. It gets better. Around 7,000 steps was linked to a 38% lower risk of dementia, a 25% lower risk of heart disease, a 22% lower risk of depression, and a 28% lower risk of falls. Here's the key point. For many health outcomes, benefits increased quickly up to about 7,000 steps, then leveled off. So going from 2,000 to 7,000 steps makes a big difference, but adding more after 7,000 doesn't help much for most goals. The University of Sydney summed it up well. If you're already doing 10,000 steps, that's fine, but most of the benefits happen by 7,000. If you're feeling guilty for getting 6,000 or 7,500 steps some days, let that go. You're not behind or failing. You're right in the range where science shows the most benefits happen. Try this. When you are feeling guilty about your step count, pause and take 3 deep breaths. Use this moment to remind yourself that every step counts. Consider reframing your self-talk by celebrating the progress you're making, however small. Each step is a victory. The news gets even more encouraging when we consider brain health specifically. According to the Harvard Gazette, a 2025 study from the Harvard Aging Brain Study published in Nature Medicine looked at older adults with higher levels of amyloid beta, a protein linked to Alzheimer's, and found that even before symptoms appeared, participants had this buildup in their brains. The researchers focused on this group to see if lifestyle changes could make a difference. So imagine Maria, a participant in the study, starting her day with a morning walk around her neighborhood park. She chats with neighbors as she strolls, peeking into local shops before heading home. Later, she takes her dog for an evening walk. Throughout her day, she also engages in light gardening, dancing to her favorite songs while tidying up, and taking the stairs instead of the elevator. These small activities help her reach 3,000 to 5,000 steps and demonstrates how feasible this goal is when woven into everyday life. The findings were powerful. People who walked about 3,000 to 5,000 steps per day delayed cognitive decline by about 3 years. That's 3 extra years for memories, conversations, independence, and daily life. Those who walked more, around 5 to 7,500 steps per day, delayed cognitive decline by about 7 years on average. The researchers also found that higher step counts were associated with slower accumulation of tau proteins in the brain. Tau tangles are closely connected to the memory loss seen in Alzheimer's disease. Dr. Wendy Yaw at Massachusetts General Hospital explained that physical activity may help slow tau buildup, which is strongly linked to memory loss. You don't need 10,000 steps to help your brain. Even 4,000 to 5,000 steps can offer meaningful protection. Every step signals to your brain and body that you're still active. Now, let's talk about an important part of brain health that many people overlook until it becomes a problem: balance. Can you stand on one foot for 10 seconds? Try it later today. No drama, no pressure, just curiosity. One foot off the ground, not holding onto a counter unless you need it for safety, and see what happens. Give it a shot and learn something about your body. If it's surprisingly hard, that's information that matters more than most people realize. Here's a little extra. Each time you successfully stand for 10 seconds, take a moment to mentally celebrate a small win. This simple act of acknowledgement can help reinforce your brain's reward loop, boosting your motivation to keep practicing. A study in the British Journal of Sports Medicine followed over 1,700 adults aged 51 to 75 for 7 years. The test was simple: stand on one leg for 10 seconds. The finding was striking. People who could not hold that one leg stance for 10 seconds had an 84% higher risk of death over the following 7 years compared to those who could. That's a huge difference from a simple 10-second test. Balance isn't only related to longevity. Researchers in Japan linked poor one-leg balance, defined as being unable to hold it for more than 20 seconds, so-called silent strokes. These are small brain injuries that might not cause noticeable symptoms in the moment, but can increase the risk of major strokes and dementia later on. The Mayo Clinic also notes that balance often declines more with age, strength, or walking speed. In many cases, it's a better sign of biological aging than the tests most people focus on. Think about what balance really involves. It's not just your ankle or your core strength. Balance is your brain coordinating many things at once. Your vision, inner ear, and nervous system all send signals from your feet, joints, and muscles. Your brain integrates it all, making tiny adjustments to keep you standing. It's like your body's internal Wi-Fi system, connecting all parts seamlessly. Balance is a neurological skill. It shows how well your body's systems communicate with each other. The good news is that balance can be improved at any age. Safety is the priority here. If you feel unsteady, make sure you have something to hold on to or perform the exercise in a safe environment. You don't need special equipment. Try standing on one foot while you brush your teeth. If you need support, use the counter at first and then use it less over time. Waiting for coffee? Try it then. Standing in line? Shift into a single leg stance near something stable. Always listen to your body and stop if you feel discomfort. Be alert for signs such as dizziness, sharp pain, or sudden loss of balance. These are red flags to stop immediately and rest. Small moments add up, and your brain learns through repetition. Now, I want you to picture this. You're at home, you drop something, you kneel down to pick it up, and then you realize getting back up feels weirdly complicated. Not impossible, but clunky. Maybe you reached for the couch. Maybe you pushed off with your knee. And maybe you think, that was harder than it should have been. That little moment is exactly why I want to talk about a simple challenge that looks almost too basic to matter, and yet it's backed by some startling research. It's called the sitting rising test. The idea is, can you sit on the floor and stand back up without using your hands? When you first hear that, it sounds like one of those party tricks. But this is a formal assessment created by Brazilian sports medicine Dr. Claudio Gil Aruja, I think. He wanted a quick, equipment-free way to measure a kind of fitness that doesn't show up on a treadmill test. Not your cardio endurance, but something more practical. Your ability to control your body, strength, balance, flexibility, coordination. the stuff that quietly determines how independent you stay as you age. Now, here's how it works. Start by standing upright, barefoot, or in comfortable clothes you can move. Slowly lower yourself to the floor, crossing your legs in a seated position. Use as little hand or knee support as possible during this descent, and once seated, transition back to standing, again minimizing support. Aim for stability and control rather than speed. Scoring is simple but unforgiving. You get up to 5 points for the sit down and 5 for the stand up for a total of 10. According to Body Spec, you lose 1 point each time you use your hand, forearm, knee, or place a hand on your thigh or knees for support during the sitting rising test. And you lose a half point each time you lose balance, but recover without using support. For some people, it's easy. For others, it's, well, let's call it an unexpectedly honest moment. Why should anyone care about this score? When researchers tracked people over time, this one movement correlated with survival rates in a way that drew serious attention. In a major 2012 study, researchers followed more than 2,000 adults aged 51 to 80 for about 6 years. The result? People who scored very low, roughly 0 to 3, were 5 to 6 times more likely to die during that period than people scoring in the 8 to 10 range. And it gets more specific. According to recent research, people with lower sitting rising test scores had higher mortality rates, highlighting the connection between mobility and longevity. Improving by a single point might be the difference between needing 2 hands and needing 1. Not perfection, just better. And that improvement correlated with a substantially lower mortality risk. Years later, a larger follow-up study was published. Over 4,000 adults tracked for around 12 years. Same basic story. The lowest scores had a dramatically higher risk of dying from natural causes, and the cardiovascular risk gap was especially striking. What is the test actually measuring? It's not magic. It's a bundle of capabilities disguised as a task. To get down and up without support, you're calling on leg strength and core strength, yes, but also hip and ankle mobility, balance, coordination, and how your body weight is distributed. It's basically a snapshot of your functional age, how well your body works in the real world, not what your birthday says. Dr. Alston, a sports medicine physician who uses similar assessments with her patients, notes that floor to stand is simply more challenging than rising from a chair because it tests multiple systems simultaneously. And the real-life translation is obvious. Falls, recovery after a trip, getting down to play with the kids or grandkids, gardening, cleaning, basically your ability to move through your own life without needing rescue. The test isn't just about athleticism, it's about independence. But I want to flag something because I can already hear people thinking, if I score low, am I doomed? Important point, no. A low score isn't prophecy. According to research published in 2025, the sitting rising test results were based on 4,282 adults aged 46 to 75 who performed the movement to assess physical fitness, not on people with severe mobility limitations or intense joint pain. If you have arthritis, an injury, or another condition that makes these movements unsafe or painful, your results simply reflect those realities and do not determine your overall worth or future health profile. Also, this test doesn't measure everything. It won't tell you about your cardiovascular endurance, mental health, social support, genetics, or any of the other major factors in longevity. The best way is to use it as a mirror, not a judge. It shows you a starting point. And the empowering part is that this is trainable. Unlike your age, your ability to sit and rise smoothly can improve. If you want to try it today, set yourself up for safety. Clear a space on a non-slippery surface. If the floor is hard, put down a yoga mat or folded blanket. Keep a sturdy chair nearby. And if you're unsure, having someone nearby the first time is smart. Take off your shoes, stand, and slowly lower yourself, crossing your legs as you settle in a seated position. No rushing. After you're seated, stand back up as steadily as you can. Notice what you use: hand, knee, forearm, leg, and score it honestly. Many experts treat 8 or higher as a solid target. But if you're below that, it's not a failure. It's information and your baseline. So how do you get better at it? Start by spending more time on the floor. Sit cross-legged if you can, with legs straight out or kneeling, whatever feels accessible. Aim for about 30 minutes per day, broken into smaller intervals. This daily practice will naturally enhance your hip and lower back mobility. A 2020 study found that older adults who can easily rise from the floor or stand from a chair maintain key abilities for independent living, suggesting these movements are important for mobility and can influence fall risk. Next, work on squats and lunges. You don't need to go deep on day one. Start with a chair behind you for support. Use a countertop if you need help balancing. The point is to build leg strength and hip mobility through the range you actually have, then gradually expand it. Another great option is the Turkish get up, or an easier version of it. It is an exercise that teaches your body progress from the ground to standing step by step. You can practice it with no weight at all, just learn the sequence. Rolling, posting it on an elbow, moving to a hand, bridging, and bringing a leg under you and rising. It's essentially rehearsing the exact skill the test wants. Then there's hip flexibility. Tight hips are a common roadblock. Gentle stretching, yoga, and simply changing your seating positions throughout the day can gradually give you more options on the floor. Finally, consider power, not just strength. Strength is whether you can do the movement at all. Power is how quickly and smoothly you can move your body weight. A recent article on top-level weightlifters highlights that neuromuscular capabilities such as power play a significant role in effective movement. Practicing exercises such as quickly standing from a chair or performing body weight squats at a controlled tempo can improve power, provided that they are performed safely. Now, here's what I love about this test. It doesn't require a clinic, a lab, a wearable, or a subscription. You can do it in your living room for free today. And unlike obsessing over a scale number or a step count, it tells you something immediate and real, how well your body can solve a basic life problem. Now, if you're sitting here thinking, I'm starting at 2, that's still a starting line. It's not the finish line. Now, let's talk about why strength training is important for your brain, not just your muscles. At the heart of this is a protein called brain-derived trophic factor, or BDNF for short. BDNF is often called fertilizer for the brain because it helps your brain adapt, learn, and form new connections. Here's the payoff. BDNF supports neurons, aiding in their survival and supporting the growth of new synapses. It's especially active in the hippocampus, a region crucial for memory and learning. Low levels of BDNF are linked to conditions like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease, as well as depression. Now, here's the good news. Exercise increases BDNF. A study in BMC Geriatrics found that both resistance training and endurance exercise raise BDNF levels in older men. Another study in Frontiers of Psychology found that resistance training combined with cognitive training improved both physical and mental abilities in healthy older adults, and BDNF may help explain these improvements. But strength training isn't just about brain chemicals. It also helps preserve muscle, especially as we get older. Starting in our 30s, many people lose as much as 3 to 8% of muscle mass each decade, and for women, this can speed up after menopause. This loss is called sarcopenia. New research suggests that losing muscle may increase the risk of cognitive decline. So muscle just isn't extra. Muscle helps you stay healthy and independent and protects your brain. Focus on strength for better quality of life, not just for looks. To help you get started with strength exercises at home, here are a few beginner-friendly ideas. Chair squats are a simple way to build leg strength without equipment. Use a chair to support yourself as you squat down and up. Wall push-ups are another excellent option. Standing facing a wall, place your hands at shoulder height and push yourself away from the wall and back. These exercises challenge muscles enough that they have to adapt. Let's do a quick thought experiment. Imagine you're standing in your kitchen waiting for your coffee to brew. If you could do a simple at-home test in that brief time that might hint at your future health, what would you choose? Your heart rate? Your blood pressure? Something high-tech? Well, here's a surprising answer, your grip. As in how strong your handshake is, how firmly you can hold on, how confidently you can twist a jar lid open. This isn't just a random fitness fact. Decades of research across 6 continents have shown that grip strength is a robust indicator of health, making it a focal point in scientific studies on aging. In 2015, researchers published findings in the Lancet after following nearly 140,000 adults across 17 countries. What they found was striking. When grip strength declined, risk increased. For every 11-pound decrease in grip strength, the risk of death from any cause rose by 16%. Heart attack risk increased by 7% and stroke risk increased by 9%. To give you a frame of reference, average grip strength for adult males typically ranges from 72 to 112 pounds, while for females it ranges from 44 to 88 pounds. The part that made people really sit up was their conclusion: grip strength predicted death more strongly than systolic blood pressure. This doesn't mean blood pressure isn't important. It means grip strength can reveal broader factors: your resilience, how your body functions, and your overall biological wear and tear. More recent research links grip strength not only to heart health and survival, but also to brain health. A 2022 study in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found that weaker grip strength was linked with faster cognitive decline and smaller brain volume in areas tied to memory. Another study in BMC geriatrics found that in older adults, lower grip strength was associated with higher rates of depression and anxiety. Why would your hand have anything to do with memory? Because grip strength isn't just your hand, it's the muscle function. It's the coordination among your brain, nerves, and muscles. It's a quick way to gauge how well that whole communication network is working. Think of your grip as the status bar for your brain to muscle connection. Grip strength is often used as a stand-in for total body muscle mass and function. Your grip becomes a shortcut measurement, a rough snapshot of your biological age, not just for your years. Here's the part I love. Grip strength is trainable. You can improve it at almost any age, and it doesn't require a complex routine or specialized equipment. If you want a simple tool, a basic hand gripper from a sporting goods store can help, and I'll include a link in the show notes. But you can do a lot with everyday objects and consistency. As a safety note, if you have hand pain, injuries, or arthritis, check with a doctor before starting any new exercises. For those with arthritis or limited hand strength, consider adaptive exercises such as squeezing a softball, using therapy putty, or towel wringing to gently improve strength while minimizing strain. Here's some practical exercises. Farmer's carry. Hold something heavy in each hand: grocery bags, dumbbells, gallon jugs of water, and walk. Start with 30 seconds and gradually extend the time. It builds grip endurance and trains your core and posture. Dead hangs. If you have a pull-up bar or anything sturdy and safe, hang with your arms extended. Start with 10 or 15 seconds. It challenges your grip and stretches your shoulder. Make sure whatever you hang from is stable and you've cleared this with your doctor. Squeeze exercises. Keep a tennis ball or stress ball nearby, on a desk, on a couch, wherever. Squeeze and hold for about 5 seconds and release. Repeat. It's small, but it adds up. Towel twist. Take a hand towel and wring it out as if you're squeezing out water. Twist one way, then another. How do you test progress without turning it into a fitness spreadsheet? Ask yourself some practical questions. Can you open a jar without assistance? Can you carry all the grocery bags in one trip? Can you hold a child's hand firmly and comfortably while walking? Those are moments nobody thinks about as exercise, but they're moments that make you feel independent. These aren't gym metrics, they're life metrics. If you want an actual measurement, you can ask your doctor to measure your grip strength with a dynamometer or buy one for yourself, and I'll include a link in the show notes. Generally, for adult men, grip strength over 100 pounds is considered good, while anything below 70 pounds might be concerning. For adult women, grip strength of 60 pounds or more is considered healthy, and a weight below 40 pounds may warrant follow-up with your doctor. Keep in mind, these are general benchmarks and individual conditions vary. So the next time you pick up groceries, twist a towel, or squeeze a stress ball, remember what you're really doing. You're building strength that matters most in everyday life. Now, today we've been talking about simple tests that reveal how your body is really doing. Your balance, your ability to get up from the floor, your grip strength, each provides unique insights. Balance tests alert us to issues with stability and coordination. The floor rise test assesses functional mobility, our ability to rise independently from a low position or to recover from a fall. Grip strength reflects not just muscular health, but also neural and cardiovascular health. Together, these assessments provide a comprehensive view of physical resilience as we age. Now, here's how the story ends. The real benefit comes from the feedback loop. You test something simple, find your starting point, and then improve it with everyday movements. The goal isn't to be perfect. It is to stay capable. Instead of worrying about a perfect program, ask yourself practical questions. Can you carry groceries without pain? Can you climb stairs without feeling exhausted? Can you stand on one foot for 10 seconds? What about 20, 30? If your balance seems like it's declining, that's worth mentioning to your doctor, especially if it comes with dizziness. Consider jotting a quick can-do/working on list after these questions to convert insight into a plan. This written mini audit reinforces your autonomy, a key driver of sustained behavior change. Move in ways you enjoy. Walking counts, but so does dancing, gardening, swimming, hiking, and playing with your kids. The best exercise is the one you'll stick with. Consistency is more important than intensity almost every time. Now, I want to pause because I know not everyone listening can walk 7,000 steps. Some people can't walk at all. Some people use a wheelchair for mobility. Some people have arthritis, chronic illness, fatigue conditions, injuries, pain flares, or limitations that make step goals feel exclusionary. This episode embraces every kind of mover, knowing that your starting point is unique and valued. I spent 25 years in rehabilitation services working with people with disabilities. One of the biggest lessons I learned is that principles of movement and brain health are universal, but how you apply them should be personal. Your brain doesn't specifically benefit from steps. It benefits from the physiological effects of movements: increased blood flow, improved insulin sensitivity, reduced inflammation, the release of beneficial chemicals, including BDNF. Those benefits can occur whether you're walking, swimming, wheeling, boxing from a chair, or doing band work. Your brain doesn't care which part of your body is moving, it just cares that you are moving. So let's talk about evidence-based ways to support brain health when step counts aren't the right fit. Aquatic exercise is one, so water workouts can be a great choice if you have joint pain, limited mobility, or trouble with weight-bearing movement. A 2024 study in Brain Sciences found that a 12-week aquatic exercise program improved thinking skills in older adults, especially executive function and problem solving. Water supports your joints and adds resistance. According to a study published in Experimental Gerontology, participating in a 16-week aquatic exercise program led to significant increases in BDNF and IGF-1 levels, as well as improvements in cognitive functions among older adults. If you have access to a pool, this type of activity can be an effective way to support brain health. Upper body exercise, hand cycles, resistance bands, seated boxing, and wheelchair sports all count. An NIH Pathways to Prevention workshop report highlighted that physical activity provides significant health benefits for wheelchair users, including improved cardiovascular health, strength, energy, and mental well-being. Brain benefits from movement aren't limited to leg exercises. Seated exercise, chair yoga, seated tai chi, and resistance band workouts from a chair are all real forms. One study found that elastic band exercise improved daily activities and fitness in older adults with cognitive impairment who use wheelchairs for mobility. If anyone has made you feel like seated movement doesn't count, let this episode be proof that it does. Adaptive sports, wheelchair basketball, tennis, adaptive rowing, and hand cycling are real athletic activities that offer cardiovascular and cognitive benefits and often foster community, motivation, and connection, all of which are important for brain health. A 2025 expert consensus on physical activity for adults with disabilities found that you can get significant health benefits with less than the usual 150 minutes per week of moderate to vigorous activity. For people who aren't active now, the best first goal is simple: move more across the day. The goal remains the same: consistent, doable movement in the form your body can access. I want to be crystal clear about what I am not asking you to do. I am not asking you to turn movement into a daily data project. You don't need to track every step, and you don't need to feel anxious if you miss a number. I'm not asking you to obsess over heart rate variability, VO2 max, readiness scores, or any other metric that can turn self-care into self-criticism. What I am inviting you to do is to build a base, to know what movement does for your brain, know that balance is meaningful and trainable, know that strength training supports independence and stimulates brain supportive chemistry like BDNF. Consider choosing one metric that genuinely sparks curiosity rather than stress. For example, you might try a 30-day experiment to simply notice how movement impacts your mood without focusing on numbers. Pay attention to non-numerical clues like how energized you feel throughout the day, whether your sleep improves, and whether daily tasks seem easier. This mindful approach can help you engage with your body's signals. Most importantly, find the kind of movements that fit your real life, not an ideal life with endless time and energy, but your actual life. Consistency is more important than perfection. So let's wrap this up by pulling the big takeaways into one clear picture. First, I want you to let go of the 10,000 step rule as a source of stress. It began as marketing, not medicine. Research shows that around 7,000 steps per day provides most of the protective health benefits, and even 4,000 to 5,000 steps can meaningfully support cognitive health. Second, use the 3 functional tests as your personal health dashboard. Check your balance regularly. The simple one-leg stand for 10 seconds is a surprisingly useful sign of healthy aging. Try the floor-to-rise test to assess your functional mobility, and pay attention to your grip strength as a window into your whole body health. Third, make strength training part of your week. Your brain benefits through BDNF, and your body benefits through preserved muscle and independence. And fourth, if walking isn't possible for you, you're not left out of brain health. Aquatic exercise, upper body movement, seated exercise, and adaptive sports all count. Your brain responds to movement, no matter the form. To make floor exercises more manageable, consider scheduling 6 5-minute floor dates throughout your day. It's a bite-sized, time-boxed challenge that doesn't require extra equipment. Next week's episode will move into Know Your Numbers. There are some important caveats to that topic. We'll talk about what's worth measuring, what's not worth obsessing over, and how to find the sweet spot between informed awareness and anxious tracking. What kind of movement works best for your body? Have you been carrying the pressure around this 10,000 step goal? Please send me a message and share your experience. Thanks for spending this time with me today. Take care of that beautiful brain of yours. Disclaimer, I'm a health coach, not a licensed medical professional. This podcast is for general informational and educational purposes only and is not a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please talk with your physician or a qualified healthcare provider about your personal situation. This podcast and show notes may include affiliate links. If you purchase through them, I may earn a commission at no extra cost to you, which helps support the show. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases.